Okay, it might be time to ring the alarm bell on Nebraska recruiting. Over the past 24 hours, we have received a bunch of bad news in regards to big time prospects who we thought were Nebraska favorites, but are no longer visiting Lincoln. So in today's video, I'm going to go over this jam-packed update. What in the world is going on? What prospects are no longer considering the Huskers? What does this mean for Nebraska going forward? What do they do? And everything else you need to know. And then it's a couple big time updates at the end of the video that you're going to want to know. So really quick, we have a lot to get into. Again, hit that like button if you're fired up. And really quick, it would make my day. If you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're unsubscribed, it takes 2 seconds. Join the best family here at Husker YouTube of over 10,000 strong. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about Nebraska recruiting. I've told you guys over the past couple weeks, these next couple months are going to be incredibly impactful. Gone are the days of committing in December or November. That doesn't happen anymore. Everybody commits in the summer months, whether that's May, whether that's June, whether that's July. And as it stands right now, Nebraska objectively has one of the worst classes in the Big Ten, not even a top 50 class in America. But I've told you guys, don't panic, because June is going to be very fruitful for the Huskers. They're going to land multiple big-time four-star prospects. Now, if we're sitting here at the end of June, or we're sitting here at the end of July and we still have a poor class, then you can really be concerned. However, we have seen a lot of concerning trends over the past couple hours. Some things have been announced that some prospects who were previously thought to be favorites to Nebraska, they're not even considering the Huskers anymore, just completely out of the blue. Let's just get things started with the news last night that was released that Titan Davis is no longer visiting Nebraska. So again, this was reported that he changed his official visiting date. He was going to visit Nebraska on the June 13th weekend. He reported that he was instead going to be going to USC. So a lot of Nebraska fans are like, oh, are we getting this visit? Is he still interested in the Huskers? Is he just going to reschedule his visit? And then it was reported about 1 hour later that he has completely dropped Nebraska out of his top four. Now, if you were paying attention to his recruitment, he basically had a top three. It was Nebraska, Penn State, and Alabama. Those were really the three there. Michigan was also in there. He dropped Nebraska and basically put in USC. So I have no idea what happened here for Titan Davis. For the longest time, Nebraska looked like they were arguably the favorite here. Alabama obviously was doing a really good job, but Nebraska's been recruiting him for as long as Matt Rhule's been employed by the Huskers. Okay, and Terrence Snyder did a good job recruiting him. Terry Bratton feels like he was doing a decent job recruiting him when he got hired, but look, clearly it wasn't good enough. And I told you guys in a video earlier last week, I'm very concerned about Terry Bratton's recruiting because he got to Nebraska late. Of course, he was with the Chiefs up until February. He missed all of January recruiting. He missed all of December recruiting, which is very crucial. So he doesn't have a great relationship with a lot of these prospects. And honestly, I think that's the reason why Titan Davis is no longer interested with Nebraska, is because he does not have a very strong relationship with Terry Bratton, at least compared to some of these other programs. So again, this is just completely out of nowhere. Is really, really unexpected. This is really bad news. Of all the prospects that Nebraska needed to land in this class, if I had a big board of the top three most impactful players that Nebraska needed to land, Titan Davis would arguably be number one or number two. Okay, he's that much of a game changer. He's a top 100 edge rusher. He's so good, and you need to lock down the trenches. We know how important the defensive line is. This is just awful news. And it's even worse considering that the defensive line in general is such a question mark in this recruiting class. We might not land a single player on this defensive line in this entire class, by the way it's looking. You heard me correctly, okay? Like looking over the other guys we're interested in, obviously Valdon Sony, we've been working hard for behind the scenes, but again, I should remind you, he has not scheduled an official visit to Nebraska yet. He's scheduled one to Bama, Florida, and Oklahoma. Nebraska's hoping that he can change his mind and then Nebraska will get slotted in at one of those times. But again, there's no other visiting weekend. It's either he visits those three programs or he puts Nebraska in and swaps one out. So not looking great for Valdon Sony, despite us going to work, visiting his entire family in Sweden. I don't want to say it's terrible odds, but you just need an official visiting weekend. If a prospect does not take an official visit, your odds are significantly less than if they were to. So hopefully he can schedule a visit. And then the only defensive lineman as of right now who is coming on an official visit to Nebraska is somebody who was just announced, which is Xavier Griffin-Haynes, who, again, this is a guy who was completely out of left field. We didn't even know Nebraska was recruiting him. You got Florida State in there. You got Alabama. I think you got one other. I can't remember what the other school is that he's taking a visit to. So again, that's another one that's just a complete wild card recruitment. You don't really know where Nebraska stands here. I have no idea where Nebraska stands here. I would guess the Huskers aren't the favorite. I think Clemson probably is. That, of course, being closer to home. But I don't know. The defensive line just has a lot of questions right now, guys. Like, that's just the way it is. And we're going, again, if you are going into June, you only have one defensive lineman taking an official visit, that tells you a lot. Tells you a lot. And it's not like we can really reverse this, unless the only way we can reverse this is if we have a winning season and then we flip a lot of guys on signing day, because there's not going to be a lot of uncommitted guys by signing day. All right, so that was the first piece of bad news. Let's just keep it rolling with the bad news. Let's just get it out of the way, right? Jabari Brady, who I consider to be a Nebraska favorite for the last 2 months. He visited Nebraska at the start of February. He visited Nebraska once again on a surprise visit during spring practice. He has canceled his official visit to the Huskers. Looks like Missouri right now has become the favorite. I'm not sure what other official visits he's going to be taking. So Jabari Brady, I don't want to freak out here. Maybe there's an outside chance that he's maybe just rescheduling his weekend, but it was reported by On3 that he has canceled his visit. So that just leads me to believe that for whatever reason, he's no longer interested in Nebraska. Maybe the Huskers are going in a different direction. Now, I'm not freaking out about this, to be honest with you, because I trust Dikell Shorts a lot when it comes to recruiting. He's clearly done a good job at both Kentucky and at Houston. So I think we're still going to land a bunch of really good receiver talents. You know, obviously a guy like Jaden Warren, somebody who Nebraska's very high on. They're arguably the favorite to land right now. So I'm not freaking out just yet, but that's, I mean, it was completely unexpected. Jabari Brady visited a couple times. It looked like Nebraska was the favorite there. There looks like they're out of it. Looks like they're out of it for Jabari Brady. And then a couple other guys who canceled their visit. Matali Benjamin will no longer be visiting Nebraska. That's an offensive lineman from Utah. Kind of out of left field here, but I'm not too surprised, and I'm not freaking out about this. Again, he canceled his visit just about yesterday. So I feel okay about the O-line class for the Huskers. Not freaking out. I didn't think Nebraska was going to land him anyways, so it doesn't really matter to me. And then Luke Sorensen, who I have right here, is no longer visiting Nebraska as well at that tight end spot. Looks like pretty much he's going to be committing to Penn State with the way that it's going. So he will no longer be visiting Nebraska. And you know what? I'm not freaking out about that either, because I think we're going to land Lincoln Watkins at tight end. So that is all the Nebraska recruits that are no longer visiting the Huskers. And if you're no longer visiting the Huskers on the official, it looks like you're just not interested. Again, every single player who pretty much commits to a school takes an official visit. So if you're not taking an official visit, that says a lot. That says a lot. So, yeah, not great news. Obviously, we're hoping Nebraska can continue to add names over the next week. This is going to be a very big week. Right before June starts, we're going to need to add a lot more names to this official visiting period. Again, I'm looking at the D-line specifically. I'm getting real nervous about the D-line. Like, I'm not worried about wide receivers, not really worried about running back, not really worried about tight end, offensive line. It's mostly D-line, linebackers, and secondary. The entire defense, honestly, I'm kind of worried about at this point. We'll see, man. We'll see. We know Nebraska's going to take a smaller class, but by taking a smaller class, it means you have to hit on the prospects that you're actually going after. And I know they wanted Titan Davis, and them not getting Titan Davis really, really hurts. So, yep, that's the port update. I want to go over two things with you that are kind of unrelated. I saw this on my feed yesterday. Dawson Merritt posted this. Look at this. Dawson Merritt has a new PR for his vertical leap. Looks like Dawson Merritt is 100% healthy. Obviously was out all of spring ball with a shoulder injury. It's very good news. Hopefully Dawson Merritt's ready to go for fall ball. Again, if he can continue to put on weight right now, he's about 220. If he can maybe get up to 230, I could see Dawson Merritt play this year, but again, he has got to be very aggressive in the weight room right now and make up for lost time. So Dawson Merritt looks like he's healthy. Man, he's looking good, right? I mean, he's an athletic freak. We already know how it is. And then last thing, Phil Simpson posted this yesterday, basically kind of a hype video. Travis Hunter said that Nebraska was the toughest opponent he played last year. So I said all that to say this. I think Philip Simpson might be the guy who saves Nebraska recruiting, because I don't know why he posted this. He posted this yesterday when everybody was kind of like worried about Nebraska recruiting. He said, no place like Nebraska, say it with their chest, and then post a hype video. If there's anybody who's going to save Nebraska recruiting this class, it's going to be Phil Simpson, our Florida guru. Please, Philip Simpson, save Nebraska recruiting, please. Philip Simpson, save Nebraska. I'm just kidding, man. I don't want to sound like I'm freaking out, because I'm going to stick with it. Like, I feel like Nebraska will have a really good class. But obviously the Titan Davis one hurts. Like, I'm not gonna BS you. Like, the Titan Davis one really hurts. And I think Jabari Brady one hurts a little bit. But the other ones I'm not really too worried about. So wanted to give you guys an update. Again, keep you posted on the good, the bad, everything else. Hey, it's a big day for Nebraska baseball, Nebraska softball. Shout out to both of those teams. Of course, the girls are one game away from potentially clinching the Women's College World Series against Tennessee. So good luck to them. And then good luck to the men playing today against Penn State. big time game. If they win that, they'll win the Big Ten tournament and go into regional play. So let me know if you guys want content about that. I'll make a wrap-up video if you guys want it. If you don't want it, won't hurt my feelings, but let me know in the comment section. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Hey, if you made this far in the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go be grab, go Matt Rule. See you in the next one.